Hello and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you've seen and if you want to see more. Coming up, Toulouse coach talked about untold damage of relegation. Salford Red Devils coaching team gets a new deal. And also the reported reason of why Hardaker is not at Leeds. And we start with the recently relegated Super League side Toulouse Olympique, as Toulouse are suffering untold damage as a result of relegation from Super League, according to coach Sylvain Hules. A string of players have left the club, including player of the season Chris Hankinson, who has moved on to Featherstone, as well as Australian halfback Corey Norman, who has departed for Elite One side Levignon, and Nathan Peets has returned to Huddersfield. But in his first interview since holding on to the reins at Stade Ernest Wellian, Hules told Love Rugby League how he almost walked away from the club following the devastation of relegation in his first attempts at coaching in top flight. But his love for the club, some persistent from the owners and chief executive, added to the positivity provided by the RFL strategic partner IMG, and the prospect of a World Cup in his home country made him sign on for a 10th season in charge of the Olympians. He said, "I needed a little bit of time. I've been at the club for 9 years, from Elite One to Super League and back to the Championship, so I had to be sure that this wasn't the end of the cycle for me. I had to consider whether the club needed a fresh approach to begin a new era, but my chairman Bernard Sarrazin and CEO Cedric Garcia convinced me that it was right to stay. We've been together for a long time and I know the club inside out, and we've had lengthy talks about what is needed to start again from scratch. I don't want to let anyone down, and that is why I'm going to go again." The one thing that will affect Hules will be the financial impact, as he will have to do without assistant Remy Casti and a host of senior players who have already departed the club or on the verge of signing for other teams. But the former 41-year-old Toulouse player says he's ready to roll up his sleeves and rebuild the club for the second return to the second tier and challenge of seeking an instant promotion back to Super League in 2023. He said, "Unfortunately, that's the effect of promotion and relegation. You sustain damage when you go down and lose players and staff. The loss of a player like Hankinson to next year's Championship rivals Rovers was a heavy blow for Hules, coming swiftly on the back of losing assistant Remy Casti." And he said, "I've known Remy as a player and a coach, and he did really well for us last season. He's a huge talent who won't be lost to the game. He has a great future ahead of him. We have been relegated and some players have left the club. We need to bring in a lot of new faces. There will be huge turnover here before the start of next year in the Championship." Obviously, the World Cup in England gives the coaches an opportunity to look at new recruits, so we'll be watching all the games very closely. But at the same time, we will be bringing up some youth and reserve players too. Towards the end of this year's Super League season, Hules was very vocal in his request to clarify for clarity from the game's leaders about the inclusion of French clubs in the UK-based game, and he is relieved IMG's reimagining of the sport has also included overseas sides. He added, "It's another factor in my decision making. You can see the French teams in Perpignan and Toulouse in the plan, and we're just waiting on the criteria we need to fulfill. We need to know if we will be a category A or B team, and also what number of French players we will need in our team sheets every week. Something I'm a big fan of, increasing the number of homegrown players at the club. And if we have the security of knowing we will remain in Super League, as long as we've reached the criteria, it is something we will be able to do. This comment came from the end of the Super League season, but he continued, the effect of not being relegated will be an instant impact upon our ability to bring through young French players. We're not happy at all about being relegated from Super League, and nothing will change that. But there is plenty to look forward to in French Rugby League, with the next World Cup being held here in 2025, and the appointment of a French Federation chief Luc Lacoste to the vice presidency of the International Rugby League organisation. Alongside the IMG announcements, there is a lot for us to be positive about, but there is a lot of hard work to be done before the benefits are felt. Being relegated hits us all hard physically and mentally at the club, so it won't be easy to brush the effects off. But we start right now with a fresh approach, a leadership group with a high energy aiming to get into the top flight in the running up to 2025. After such a fantastic first year in charge, Paul Rowley has been offered and accepted a 3-year deal with Salford Red Devils, which means that he's with the club until at least the end of the 2025 season. He wasn't the only one that was offered a deal as well. While there's no news on Danny Orr yet, but Rowley's number 2 Cal Haggerty has agreed to a 3-year extension as well, seen here on the right. Rowley, who's 47 and was nominated for Super League Coach of the Year in his first season in charge, but unfortunately losing to Salford Red Devils in the playoff semi-finals, despite a fantastic year at the helm of the Red Devils. Former Leeds and Toronto coach had never taken charge of a Super League club prior to 2022, and he told the club's official website, in reaction to his signing the new deal, I'm very grateful for the belief and the trust placed in me to lead the team going forward, and I'm privileged to be part of a fantastic group who will continue to work hard and give 100% commitment to the cause. Thanks to everybody who supported myself and the team, and look forward to seeing you all next season. Signs it off. Thanks. Rolls. I've just looked on the report and it looks like the third part of the team, and Salford Red Devils assistant coach Danny Orr has revealed that he will leave the club at the end of this season. The ex-Castleford, Wigan, London and Great Britain scrum half, 44 years old, joined the Super League club as previous bosses Richard Marshall's assistant ahead of the 2021 campaign. Though after Marshall departed, and after 11 months when Salford finished second bottom with the league with 7 wins, Orr continued on, has formed a decent partnership with Rowley and Haggerty. Orr himself placed on record, I've really enjoyed my time at the club. The staff, players and fans have really taken me in, and I will look back at my time here with fond memories. I wish the club all the best in the future, but first, I want to help us through this season on the high. Which, by all accounts, he definitely did. With Rowley, Orr and Haggerty in charge, Salford gained plaudits for their attacking brand of rugby, and which saw them defy the pre-season expectations and reach the playoffs. Such was the contributions of their squad. They recorded a 10 players that got called up to a record amount of players, should I say, got called up for the Rugby League World Cup, including Andy Ackers, Mark Sneed and Callum Watkins for England. There are other players as well, like Tim Lifeye, Brodie Croft and Ken Seo, who were picked for the Super League Dream Team. Such was the success of Salford during this 2022 season. On their coach's extension on the contract, Salford Red Devils Director of Rugby Ian Blease added, I'm really pleased to get Paul both Paul and Kurt to commit to long-term at the Salford Red Devils. After a good half of last season, playing a magnificent brand of rugby, it's pleasing that we are able to build long-term with these guys in charge. The amount of knowledgeable people coming up to me and saying how impressed they were with the on-pitch displays is a testament to all their hard work and effort, along with the backroom staff and the whole of the playing group. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can both conjure up on the pitch for the 2023 season and beyond. Salford will be definitely looking to keep the momentum going for these 3 years to build on last year's performances. They were one win away from the grand final. That was against the St. Helens, which arguably, it could be said, deserved to win that game. We'll have to see what goes on for 2022 and see if they're able to pick up another couple of diamonds, like Brodycroft, like the Sim Life Eyes, like the Dion Crosses of the team, to push that team one step further. And in the final part of this episode, we have a look at Zach Hardaker and why he chose the Leopards over the Rhinos. We're still not convinced that the Lee Leopards thing is a serious item, but until they put their feet on the ground or do all their social media changes or whatever, it's the Lee Leopards. Anyway, the Rhinos' resistance to offer Zach Hardaker more than a one-year deal was a key stumbling block in their attempts to re-sign the star. Zach Hardaker had signed with Lee after the newly promoted club completed an impressive move for the former Man of Steel. Hardaker's future had been a key talking point for several months, and the 31-year-old had made no secret of his desire to stay at the club. But with the Rhinos salary cap situation, which has been well documented, he has departed the club for pastures new. It is thought that tentative talks with Hardaker's representatives started several months ago, with Hardaker himself admitting there have been conversations going back as far as August. However, rather than a deal being on the table, it is thought that this club's salary cap situation was made clear. Nevertheless, there was a mutual agreement between both sides that they would like to come to terms on a deal once the salary cap issue had been resolved. It looked like broad discussions are thought to have taken place based on his options at that stage, but Rugby League Live had learnt that Hardaker's representative made it clear to all interested parties that they would only not consider any one-year contracts. There was a clear push to secure the England international on a longer contract. Leeds started serious contract talks earlier this month when it became apparent that a resolution to Jack Walker's future would be found. However, it was revealed the deal tabled to Hardaker was only for the 1 year from Leeds. At the same time, his representatives had started pursuing other avenues due to concerns over the salary cap situation. And with the season heading towards its latter stages, by which point the club are starting to finalise their recruitment plans, Hardaker himself rejected an offer from another club whilst those discussions were ongoing. Throughout this discussion, Lee had shown an interest. Eventually, they tabled an appealing 2-year contract. Not only that, but an annual salary that is thought to be around 25% higher than the initial 5-figure contract tabled by the Rhinos. Simply put, Leeds were comfortably outbid. Though Leeds are thought to have increased their offer, it only remained as a 1-year deal. Hardaker and his representatives repeated that a 1-year deal was not what was not an option to Hardaker, meaning the offer was never considered a viable one from Hardaker's side. As a result, the Leeds deal was accepted. Leeds are thought to have been notified earlier this week. Some question Hardaker's decision to move back to Lancashire, having been clear about his wish to return to Yorkshire, having left Wigan to do so. However, it is thought personal circumstances in his life have now changed, making the need to be closer to home not as pressing. Hence their decision to consider Lee's new offer and meet them. Now, the Rhinos must focus on finding a replacement for Hardaker. They do have the salary cap space as well as the quota spot can use. So it's quite interesting on how things develop in sports and deals and reports. But for now, Lee Leopards have signed Zach Hardaker on a multi-year deal. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below. The comment section is open for business, but please be respectful. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts are on today's stories. Salford extending the deals, Hardaker going to Lee, and the deal that has been involved. So Toulouse, is there more to come about their financial issues? Just don't know. It seems to be very, very well backed. Hopefully that will continue. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll end the episode as I normally do by wishing you all the best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode later today.